And before we start, I like to invite our JAINA's Public Relations and Media Committee Chair, Savitaji Jain from Washington, DC. Savitaji, if you can please give us an honor for doing a prayers for today.
Jai Jinendra, everybody. Please join your hands. Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayariyanam. Om Namo Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sappasahunam. Eso Panchanamo Karo. Sappa Pavapanasano. Mangalanancha Saffesing. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Thank you, Savitaji. Jai Jinendra. It is my privilege to welcome respected JAINA President Mahesh Bhai, invited members of JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, Jain Center members, and also Jains joining not only from North America, but from various parts of the world. Pranam. Your presence in JAINA events always inspires us to keep raising the bar for JAINA services. On behalf of JAINA Executive Committee, I, Hemant Shah, your JAINA Secretary, warmly welcomes you all on this second town hall meeting under JAINA's new initiative called Know Your JAINA. As many of you know, JAINA's committee are one of the pillars of JAINA. JAINA committees are formatted as standing committee, operational committee, and also ad hoc committees as needed. And this committees actually keeps JAINA very vibrant and active. Under Know Your JAINA, we facilitate town hall meetings and project one committee at a time. Last month, we learned about JAINA Vayavach Committee. And today, we have invited JAINA Academic Liaison Committee members. We are going to learn about JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, on how this committee functions, what are their accomplishments, how this committee is impacting Jain's life around the globe, and lastly, but very important, is how we can help to this committee and JAINA's mission. Once again, I appreciate you all and thank you for joining. And without further ado, I would now like to invite our President, Sri Mahesh Bhai of Los Angeles, California, to introduce our speakers and committee members. So Mahesh Bhai.
Thank you, Hemant Bhai. Pranam and Jai Jinendra to all. And thank you for taking time off on Saturday and attending this meeting. JAINA has 36 committees that work tirelessly. They are ready to propel JAINA to a new height. To help the committees perform even better, JAINA Executive Committee introduced a new initiative under the Know Your JAINA. This will make the community aware of the people behind each committee, their mission, current activities, finances, and future plans. Every month, we will have 1 or 2 committees giving their updates, And this will help raise the enthusiasm in the committees to perform better, and hope by this initiative, more people will become aware of the worthwhile work being done by each committee, which obviously in turn will gain support in multiple ways for the cause. With that, let me introduce you to the 4 hardworking members of the JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, who will be presenting the JAINA Academic Liaison activities. This committee is doing incredible work in approaching educational institutions, not only in North America, but worldwide, to establish Jain study courses. The first speaker is, we have Dr. Sulek Jain, who presently resides in Las Vegas, who is in fact my mentor and is chair of the JAINA Academic Liaison Committee. He has been serving JAINA and the Jain community for the past 35 years or so. Dr. Sulek Jain was born in a religious family in a small town in Haryana. After obtaining BS and MTech in mechanical engineering in India, he went to England in 1965, where he got his PhD. And guess what? That fortunate day and date was March 13. So congratulations, Sulekji. In 1969, he moved to the United States of America. He is the author of more than 50 technical papers and books and has obtained 10 international and US patents. His most recent book is An Ahimsa Crisis, You Decide. Dr. Jain is the founder and co-founder of several organizations and institutions in North America, such as Jain Center of Greater Boston, Jain Center of Houston, Jain Center of Cincinnati, Dayton, Jain Digest Magazine, Jaina Library, Young Jains of America, Jain Center of Ohio at Columbus, Jain Academic Foundation of North America, Mahavir World Vision, Jain Spirit International Magazine, World Council of Jain Academias, JVB Preksha Meditation Center in Houston, Ahimsa Foundation in India, and so forth. He is the past president of JAINA and recipient of JAINA Ratna Award. There is something interesting I want to share with you. ये हमारी कल ही एक मीटिंग में उनके साथ बात हो रही थी. तो everybody, we are working today so hard to bring awareness of Jainism. And मुझे बता रहे थे कि भाई the best way to do this is हर एक जैनियों को अपना लास्ट नेम जैन रखना चाहिए. जैसे कि बोलता है मैंने किया, he is अग्रवाल and he changed his surname to Jain. So बोलता है कि हमारे यहाँ नॉर्थ अमेरिका में 150,000 जैन्स है, और अगर जैनी सब अपने लास्ट नेम जैन लगा देंगे तो कितनी मजा आ जाएगी. People will know the Jains better and the awareness will be felt around the world. और ये अगर विश्व भर में सब लोग करेंगे तो फिर तो क्या बात हुई. So great thought, Sulek ji. Excellent thought. The speaker, the second speaker is Dr. Nitin Shah. He's an MD, Los Angeles, California. He is the vice chairman of JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, and he's a professor of anesthesiology and critical care at Loma Linda University. He is the past president of Jain Center of Southern California. He is a board member, International School of Jain Studies in India. He is the founding president of Anekan Community Center, Los Angeles. He organizes international medical missions. Excellent job that he does for humanitarian services. The third speaker we have is Dr. Jaswant Modi, MD, Los Angeles, California. He is the past president of Jain Center of Southern California, and he is a crown jewel for this committee and for everyone. He's a regional vice president of JAINA, treasurer JAINA ALC, philanthropist to more than a dozen charitable causes. His contributions to Jain studies in academia have been profound. He has donated more than $8 million to Jain academic education. The fourth speaker is Dr. Narendra Parson, MD, Los Angeles, California. He is a member, JAINA ALC, board member, International School for Jain Studies in India, Jain art historian and collector, anesthesiologist, member, Museum Board of Bowers, Orange County, philanthropist, Jain academic education programs. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Sulek Jain to take it from here on. Thank you all, and Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Mahesh Bhai. And before Sulekji starts, I just wanted to, whoever joined a little late, if you can please mute your microphone if you're not speaking. And if you have any questions or if you wanted to communicate with us, please use the chat box. And also raise your hand on your chat box so that we know. And now I will invite Dr. Sulekji, and I'll set up his presentation.
Jai Jinendra, Namaskar, and I'm so grateful for this event today. And such a long-winded introduction by Mahesh Bhai, but he forgot that I'm only 5 feet 5 inches, and I don't have any more hair left. Okay, so anyway, thank you. I'm just a Shravak. I did not need all those laurels. So anytime, whatever we are doing, it's all because of the teamwork that we are all working. And I also want to thank Savita Behan, very beautiful rendering of the Jain prayers. It was so wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Savita. And I also very quickly want to recognize the Sharmila Oswal from Pune. She is from Jito. Okay, Sharmila, thank you. And of course, we have our leaders from UK, especially Nemubai Chandaria, with whom I have worked for the last 35 years at least. So with that, let's get started. Today's program, Know Your Jaina, is something unique. And as we will go through, you will see what magic is taking place. In the Jain, next slide, please. Next slide. Can you push the next slide? Today's talk is about Jain academic education, how it has progressed in North America and now in Europe. 60 years ago in this country, there were no Jain centers and there were no Jain temples. And slowly we started growing. Keep it in the first. Reverse back, please. Reverse back. We started growing, and now we have a whole infrastructure. So we decided, why not we move beyond that? And moving beyond that means now we build grand mandirs. So today that is the presentation about with all of you. So it is consists of 4 parts. One is the JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, which I will share a couple of slides. JAINA in 2008, long time ago, recognized that in addition to building the places of worship, Derasar, we also have our presence in the universities and colleges in America, especially, and all of our other places. With that, when we recognize this, then once you have this, you cannot do anything without having scholars, without training scholars. We did not have any 15, 20 years ago. So Jainism was not known. So with that, we created an international school for Jain studies to create scholars. And that's what Dr. Nitin Shah will be talking about. And once we have these scholars, once the need was identified, then the third was that now we need the power of the money, we need the power of the resources. Now we go to the universities and colleges and now say, hey, we are ready. So we have all the infrastructure. And then the progress of the Jain academic centers and progress in USA are the places, Dr. Jaswant Bhai Modi will tell you all that. And then once you have all of these, then another very big ingredient is that you need knowledge, you need books, you need other materials on Jainism. For that, a JAINA e-library was created many, many years ago. And I will share only a couple of slides how that has been a big resource to these scholars, to these professors. And with that, then that will be me. And then how all of us can join hands together and go from where we are to the next step, build more and more Gnan Mandirs. And that will be shared by Dr. Jaswant Modi and Narendra Parson, and we'll talk about this. So again, Mahesh Bhai, thank you. We are grateful for giving us a chance. Let me, next slide, please. As I talked about JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, in 2008, when Dilip Shah was the president of JAINA, he established the JAINA Academic Liaison Committee. And its whole purpose was to create the awareness, to provide all kinds of resources that are needed to go to the universities and to stay in touch with them, basically, of course, English speaking, and also encourage younger Jain scholars to be trained by means of scholarship, fellowships, and increase employment opportunity for academia. You can understand why will anybody will study Jainism, why anybody will do PhD in Jainism if there are no job opportunities, okay? So we had to think of all of those. That's why JAINA Academic Liaison Committee was established, and it's been working. Next slide, please. So here is a very beautiful logo with JAINA. It is a part of JAINA Academic Liaison Committee. Next. And now it has you cannot work alone. You have to work with a lot of people together. And JAINA Academic Liaison Committee has 24 highly motivated community leaders who are members from various parts of North America and UK and India. Because of these people, these are the people who are carrying the whole show and making it happen. So another beauty is out of 24 members, Bhai Sahab, 5 are females. We made sure that they are fully represented, and hopefully very soon we will have probably equal number. 3 are current and past presidents of JAINA. So it's a very powerful committee. And we have many regional vice presidents and so many other, so many important leaders of the Jain community. And all members are highly academic. And what we do, we meet very, very regularly, okay? Because of COVID, we have not been able to meet physically, but our Zoom meetings, which last at least hour and a half, 2 hours, quite often, and of course, many other things that go on. This is how we operate. Next. This is a long list you will not be able to see, but these are the 24 people who are members of JAINA Academic Liaison Committee, and they are from USA and from Canada, and one from UK, and one from India. And this is also, we have a very international representation in the next. And this is a picture. We started working with many, many budding Jain scholars. And this is a picture about 10 years ago, I forgot what time frame. We invited many, many of these budding scholars, you can see some of them, to the Jain temple in Chicago. Unless you develop a relationship with them, then we cannot progress very far. So Jain Society of Metropolitan Chicago, they were the host. There were about 300 people came, and probably 50, 60 people of these scholars from various universities in America. And a beautiful dinner and the prayers and the talks, all of those took place. So it was a memorable event. Another, next picture, please. This is another what we call meet and greet with these scholars. This took place in Atlanta and again in the Jain temples. And there also the Jain community leader, the Jain society people, and we did all of those things. So it was a relationship building, bond building. Okay, that's how we started. We did that in San Francisco and a couple of other places. Now, next one. So quickly, not only we had now nearly 25, 30 scholars who did PhD from Harvard, from University of Chicago, Yale, and all that. Also right now, 11 of our other people are doing PhD in Jainism right now in the United States. And you can see, Florida, University of Chicago, Yale, they are doing PhD right now. So these people will be available in 3 to 4 years in the job market. Next. So with that, I gave you a little background how JAINA started this movement 12 years ago. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Nitin Shah to take us further beyond about the international school to create scholars. Thank you, Nitin. Bye.
Jai Jinendra, everybody. Thank you, Jaina, and thank you, Select Bhai, for this opportunity. I'll give you a brief history of where this all started before in America. In 2003 and 4, we were discussing about establishment of Ahimsa Center at Cal Poly Pomona under Jain Center of Southern California. And we started that. We were interested in using the religious name, etc., which at that time did not happen. However, that was our interest. And it had to wait until 2011 when Sulekji and Dilip Shah from Philadelphia, they called me and literally put it on me that you're going to be a director of ISJS and you're going to further the cause that we are developing at Claremont Lincoln University in Claremont, California. And that, of course, ultimately went down and out in 2013 from our association, but that's our humble beginning to start teaching Jain classes in main academia. And the Professor Philip Clayton and the then fellow of religious studies, Brian Donaldson, who is now the chair at University of California, Irvine, Sri Parsunath, presidential chair in Jain studies. They were the teachers at that time. And then from there, we have not turned back. Next slide. And the credit of all this goes to ISJS. And before that, why do we need to study? Why do we need to take Jain principles? And this is said by Professor Donald Davis from University of Texas. Jain Dharma offers a different pair of eyeglasses or a prism through which to view the world, its problems and opportunities. And this is why he taught Jainism at University of Texas at Austin, whom Professor Dr. Sulek Jain knew before. Next. So there's one other aspect while we were negotiating, meeting, etc., especially at University of California at Riverside, one of the Jewish professors told me that there are over 200 establishments of Jewish education in academic universities in North America. So that's one of the ways to influence at least North America. And the beginning, the picture is of Dr. Sugan Jain, we can not give enough credit to this young man who just turned 80 2 weeks ago about what we all see today. In 2004, Dr. Sugan Jain in New Delhi, who is a very successful technologist, businessman, visionary, and passionate leader, along with Dr. Sulek Jain established International School for Jain Studies. And the idea had been that we will take the students from all over the world into India and show them how we practice and believe of Jain religion. And he committed all his waking hours and he still continues to do that. Next. The most important aspect, at least in my humble opinion, and I'm sure we all will agree that it's a non-sectarian. So what we did is, without worrying or going into the nitty-gritty of what different sects believe or not, they rose above and took that as Jain and the main principles of Jain religion. So there are 5 standalone programs which ISJS offers, ranging from 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. from intro to advanced courses in Jainism they are offered to full-time faculty, research, doctoral students, postgraduate, undergraduate. Even you and I can go and join at our age, etc. I'm obviously getting to be in a senior range. So of course, but geared towards a lot for the high school students, high school teachers, as well as young graduate students. The syllabus that ISJS has developed is approved by several universities and students, and they can earn credits from their own universities. So far, over 800 students have come from more than 40 universities and many countries, USA, Canada, Europe, Asian countries, African countries as well, and they are not stopping. Next, we have added a winter school thanks to Dr. Jason Modi. In 2019, we started the first winter school in Ahmedabad, and trying to utilize the best of the weather from India, and that goes on for 10 days. Anybody can attend. We have had anywhere from 22 first time to 42 students in 2021 this year. So this is a picture from the summer class when they were there visiting in New Delhi. Next. So what have ISJS done in just 16 years? There are many who pursued after attending summer school PhDs. ISJ has now been part of Dr. Firodia's Amar Prerna Trust, and we expect that it's going to be phenomenally. We have had a formal MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, signed with our committee, Academic Liaison Committee. Also, the ISJS is trying to connect around the world with different universities. They already have a signed MOU with Ghent University and the Gujarat University in India. We are very close to signing with Loyola Marymount University, and the work is underway under Willamette University in Oregon and Claremont School of Theology. And Claremont Lincoln University that we started in 2011 was part of Claremont School of Theology. They got separated, but we continued with CST. So CST is kind of our first university that we ever partnered with. And we owe a lot to ISJS for all this progress. Next. This is my last slide before we move on to Dr. Jaswantbhai Modi. And in last 10 years, since 2011 to be precise, we have established several chairs, endowed professorships, lectureships, postdoctoral fellowships in Jain Studies program at more than 26 universities so far. Most academic positions, this is phenomenal. They've been named after Tirthankar Bhagwans. And this is a major historical step for which the idea came and the vision from Dr. Jaswant Modi. Thank you. So that's a beautiful vision and idea whereby many people can partner in the same place and give little to more money. And we don't have to worry about individual names, etc. And how do we get different partners to participate for one university. Nearly all position holders are alumni of ISJS. So that is the biggest contribution. And of course, Los Angeles is becoming like Oxford and Cambridge of England for academic education. LA is becoming hub for Jain studies. Thank you. Next. Take it on, Dr. Jaswantbhai. Jaswantbhai, unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jai Jinendra, and thank you very much for very kind introduction. Hemant Bhai, Mahesh Bhai, Sulekh ji, Nitin Bhai. As we continue our journey from the ISJS concept to the university education, our journey started many, many years ago. And in earnest, I joined the journey at the Claremont School of Theology, and subsequently the big step which we took was at University of California at Irvine. Next slide, please. University of California, Irvine programs. The path was shown to me in the beginning. Over and above all this luminary was our Jain Center of Southern California member, Yogesh Shah. When he mentioned to me the first time while we were driving, I said, this is something I like it. I explored immediately. We had an year of conversation, negotiation with the UCI, and when we were ready to fund, I approached my several colleagues, one of which was Raju Shah, who is the president of Jain Temple of Los Angeles. I suggested I would like to get some contribution from different members, and he immediately agreed. I suggested, should we name this on one of our Tirthankar, Shri Parashnath Endowed Jain chair? He came next day and he said he agrees and he'll like it. And this is where we started naming Tirthankar name on all the chairs. We want to have whole Jain community in US and everywhere participate in small ways, in a big way, in funding, time, ideas, contribution. So here we are in last several years. Now we have 8 endowed chairs, 5 endowed professorship and a program. We have 6 postdoc lectureship, 2 adjunct lecturer program, 3 annual lecturer programs, 8 other teaching programs, several other programs, and more will be coming soon. Next. This is the first signing ceremony for UCI Endowed Sri Parashnath Presidential Chair at Jain Center of Southern California. And that was a great beginning. Next. This is signing ceremony at the Cal State University of Fullerton. And this is also at JCSC. And here we have the members of the faculty as well as donors, Narendra Bhai, Mahesh Bhai, and everybody. Next. We have several other programs. We have a year-long Bhagwan Mahavir Fellowship in Prakrit. In 2019, we have 3 PhD scholars spent 8 months in India, less time due to the pandemic. 3 to 4 such fellowship program will be offered in 2021. We had a first annual Jain Academic Convention. The first one was in November 7, 2020, under the leadership of Professor Anna Barzels at the UCR. We had 3-day international symposium on Jain mathematics by Jain Center of Greater Boston, and that was organized by Pankaj Shah from Boston. Next. These are the scholars attending Bhagwan Mahavir Fellowship to study Prakrit in India. Next. We have an online Jain classes, free access courses in the Jainism. Dr. Christopher Miller, who is a Bhagwan Mallinath professor in Jain studies at LMU, he has developed 14 lectures online and in English. These are available free online anywhere in the world. And there are 24 planned, 14 are done, 10 will be done pretty soon. You can watch that on a YouTube. Recently, one of the beauty of this whole program is that we have not just one person participating and contributing the funds. We have many people contributing in a small and a big ways. I will say every place. At the UCI, we had more than 4 families contributing. At the UC Riverside, we had more than 4 members contributing. Loyola Marymount University, we had more than 4 or 5 members of our Jain community contributing. Recently, we had a Fresno State University, we had 11 Jain members contributed. We have a UCLA lectureship, we had 10 members contributed. We have a Willamette University, and we have more than 8 members contributed. In this whole journey, I also thank our past Jain Center President, Dr. Virendra Shah, or businessman Virendra Shah, who really supported this program right from the beginning, that anything you want to do, JCSC has a full support of that. So thank you, Virendra Bhai. Very recently, we have a Ghent University in Ghent, Belgium. They have a very robust Jain study program. They produce bachelor's, master's, and a PhD in Jainism. This particular program, now we formalize it, and we have a businessman from Antwerp who is also in India, Surendra Pathavari, and myself and few other people, we signed a MOU for the 5 years that will collaborate, prepare lectures in German, French, Dutch language, and so on and so forth. Next. Symposium. We had 2-day annual Peace and Religion Symposium was held at the Cal State University, Fullerton in November 20th and 21st. We also had a 2-day symposium on illness, medicine, and the healing in the Jain tradition at the UC Riverside on December 12 and 13 of 2020. We had a 3-day international symposium on the Jain mathematics sponsored by the Jain Center of Boston and the JAINA that was virtually on December 12 and 14th. I couldn't believe it when I attended this Jain mathematics to see how mathematics has been incorporated on our basic Jain principles. We have a long heritage for 2 millennia. We have a lot of cultures, and we need to let the world know through this Jain Gyan Mandir who we are, what we stand for. Next. This is International Symposium on the Jainism and Mathematics. That was, this is the brochure. Next, please. Future programs. We will have a virtual summer school for the Jain studies from July 12 to 30th in 2021. It will be 3 hours each day from Monday through Friday. Dr. Christopher Miller, who is a Bhagwan Mallinath professor at Loyola Marymount University, he will teach. Course is being developed in conjunction with a few Jain youths. Next. Future Jain academic programs. 2 donors will fund establishment of the Acharya Mahaprajna professorship program for the 5 years at the Ghent University in Belgium, which is now a reality. University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Illinois. There we now have established Bhagwan Muni Subrat Swami endowed Jain professorship in religious department. In that, we had 4 families from Chicago, Illinois. We had 2 families from here. We will be signing in next week. UC Berkeley, we are in progress. Florida Atlantic University, we are talking, and this might happen soon. Next. This is a special issue of the Jain Digest magazine. Anybody who isn't familiar with this particular issue should, it's available online. It gives a progress. Every university where we have a Jain presence, that university professor has written about the program, what that program offers, how it was done. And it's a beautiful synopsis put together by Dilip Bhai Parekh and various other people. And we should, everybody should really read it because it has a deep knowledge. Next. JAINA's e-library, which is being developed by Sulek by Jain. And I believe when does Narendra Bhai Parson come in?
He comes in right after this, and I will ask him if he can hang on another 5-7 minutes.
Okay.
Right.
Let
So,
me thank you, Nitin Bhai, and thank you, Jaswant Bhai, for taking us this far. And what again I say, Jaswant Bhai, you are not a treasurer, you are a treasure. Khajana ho. You have already contributed, I would say, at least $8-9 million. I cannot even keep a track of how much you are contributing. And every day it is happening. So keep on doing that. We are very proud of you. Very quickly, now I want to take you a couple of slides. As I mentioned, you have professors, but they need books. They need Jain material. They need Jain agams. And for that purpose, Parveen K. Shah of Raleigh, North Carolina, he started a JAINA e-library, electronic library. So let me give you a quick update how that has been useful and how many scholars are using it. Next slide, please. So I mentioned to support all these academic activities, Praveen K. Shah developed this JAINA e-library and has made a significant difference. And we also have a physical library at Jain Center of Southern California where 15,000 books are housed. But this is a storehouse, JAINA e-library. Now you quickly, next slide, please. This library contains literature of all sects, Shwetambar, Digambar, Sthanak Vasi, Terapanthi, Shrimad Rajchand, Kanji Swami, Dada Bhagwan, you name it. It has also interfaith literature and audio files, and it is easy to access. One can download any material at no cost from anywhere in the world 24/7. Next. See, this is a list we put together only about 2 months ago. So what I'm showing is it's already probably obsolete. 5 million pages of Jain scriptures and Jain books are uploaded. 20,000 books, 5,000 articles, 1,000 MP3 audio files. Photo library is coming up. It has Prakrit, Sanskrit, Hindi, Gujarati, and Kannada material. And my brothers and sisters, 66,000 registered members who are using this. And over 1 million pages are downloaded by users every year. So it's a significant contribution to what we are doing. Next slide, please. And the Pathshala is material. So what I want to show is $1 million have been spent on JAINA e-library, significant amount. And in IES, JS, what in India that Nathan Bhai talked about, $1 million was spent, and probably these figures are very low, much bigger. But Jain academic positions and programs in university that Jaswant Modi talked about, donors have given 13 plus I would say $15 million because we committed some, Jaswant Bhai committed some big money only 2 days ago. And the beauty is that our Maheshwadar Bhai said it's a $40 million investment. And I know that's a very catchy word. And I would probably say it's a $50 million investment, okay? Because universities are matching every dollar that we put in with $2 or $3 of their own. This is significant. They are partners. So I would say so far probably very close to $50 million in all these programs. Next. So now Narendra Bhai and Jaswant Bhai, now go from here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Yeah, it's your time, Narendra.
Go ahead. Okay. So, can everyone hear me? I'm unmuted, yes. I think. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you see the slides?
Yes, I can.
Okay, please tell next to Hemant Bhai.
Oh, next slide, Hemant Bhai. Okay. So all these, I'm sure you've already heard of where all the contributions have been coming from, mostly Jaswant Bhai and Meera Modi, who have made a huge contribution. And I just overheard earlier where all these monies have gone for endowing chairs at various universities. And in case I forget, Moini Jain was involved with the UC Davis. And of course, Harshad Bhai has been with Raksha Ben, has been very instrumental in supporting several of the endowed chairs, etc. And so has Mahesh Bhai and Usha Wadar. So in all, like Dr. Modi mentioned, there have been a huge contribution, even though very small, from multiple sources amongst the Jain community. I think that's a very significant factor because the more we get involved with our money, with our thoughts, etc., the more contribution will look bigger. So with that, I'll mention a couple of things that I have been working with recently. One of them was, is there a next slide, Hemant Bhai? Yeah, or there are the handsome couple, which if you've not met, I'd recommend you, when you are in LA next time, try and meet them. Very pleasant people to meet. Next, please. And this is the Moini family, Moini Jain family. Next, please, with her children. Next. And this is Harshad Bhai and Raksha Ben. They have also made a major contribution to support all the other chairs that have. Next. Okay, how can we help? Before I say that, yeah, there are many ways we can help. A couple of things I would like to add, to be really brief about it. With Loyola Marymount University, we have been negotiating or working with memorandum of understanding with ISJS, and it's all done. I saw excerpts of it. However, what happened was, unfortunately, the registrar was sick and he left the job, which then threw the whole thing back about 3 to 6 weeks. I think any day, any hour, actually, we might get this next week. Okay, that's that. And another interesting thing that we've been working on, which was not mentioned, is the Antiquity of James. We should all be very proud of our heritage. I'm sure we are. However, we have not been showing too much interest in the antiquity that we have. For example, the Upanishads and the Vedas have mentioned that there were a group of people, namely Jains, who had icons made, which the Upanishads and the Rig Vedas did not, or the Vedas did not believe. So all these are antiquities that go back to 5000 BCE. I was so disappointed. I will not say where I was. It was in India, of course. Our group of people, our Jains, my brothers and sisters, they rejected. They say, oh, ye to khandit ho gaya hai, bekar hai. They'd be happy to set up a new one and throw away the old one, which is sad. I hope we change our attitude to that and respect and adore the fact that we had such fantastic heritage. I'm working with a very well-known gentleman in Delhi called Nirmal Sethi, and he's been instrumental in doing quite a lot of work, and I'll leave it at that. How else this is one of the factors how we can help. The other thing that I'd mentioned, let's all support any which way we can, the smallest possible way to support even $1, 200, 200,000, whatever. However, each chair takes maybe millions of dollars, but any small way, a contribution is a commitment. That's one. The other ways we can, and which we are doing, as you probably heard, Chris Miller is doing a summer school with students of Jain background. However, it's open to anyone. As a matter of fact, a few people from India are signing in, even possibly as a trainee. So these are things that really, really will help and disseminate our thinking to the rest of the community, rest of the society, not necessarily only Jains, everyone. That's how we can help. We can donate towards Jain books and libraries. I went to the local library then, they did not even know who the Jains were. And I think we've all experienced this through our professional careers. They don't know who we are. So if we introduce them to who we are, then they want to know how we interact or behave. And one of the things I'll tell you, not to brag about, but the fact that in my center, we have about 68 employees or so. About 32 of them became vegetarians over about 3 to 5 years. Just because, we explain to them why we are vegetarians. It's simple things like this, which I think we can share and improve on the lots of our society. So the donors, and then the other things we can do is invite students, etc., to visit our terasa, which again is so helpful. It makes them understand why or how we do things, which makes a difference in their understanding, which I think we are also proud of it, that even if they understand, it's a huge asset. So that's all I have to say. Thank you all very much for your time. Is there another slide, Evan Bhai? No, that's it. Bahut dhanyavad, and we're open for questions and suggestions. Thank you, Mahesh Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I think thank you very much, all the speakers, and very good information about this committee. I'm sure there are many questions in the chat, and we will work with Nitin Bhai. Dr. Nitin Shah is going to moderate our question and answer session. So, Nitin Bhai.
Hemant Bhai, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I will stop sharing, and we will go from the question and answer session, and I'll help you in sending some questions to you also.
Hemant Bhai, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for the speakers, and of course, most importantly, JAINA President, Secretary, and the committee for hosting this. And you all taking time out of your busy schedule to join us to listen to. And I certainly thank all the speakers to keep in time and at least finish talking before time so that we can take on some questions. I have few questions that had come in on chat, which I will quickly answer. And if I feel appropriate, I will pick on Dr. Sulek Jain, Dr. Modi, or Dr. Parson. Dr. Parson may have had to go, so we will take care of answer. First question was from Bindesh Bhai about University of Connecticut. That is there a program that we are talking? There is already one program that exists there, and second one we are talking. It is in a very preliminary stage. The group of Kanji Swami followers are interested in establishing something, but we are talking about it, and I think we are not ready to go a lot about it yet because things are in very fluid state. So Bindesh Bhai, I hope this is good enough, but you can give my Sulek Bhai or Jason Bhai's numbers to your cousin to talk about, to discuss more. Then thank you, Sarmila ji, Manju ji, for your comments. And Pradeep Bhai asked about plan in India. And I will answer that one as well. We are talking, thanks to Sarmila ji Oswal and the Deepak Shah, who is a professor in MS University, Baroda, which I happen to be an alumnus from, and Mr. Vijay Bhai Chheda. They had connected us. I had one conversation with Deepak Bhai and Vijay Bhai, and then we all had one conversations, and we are waiting to further progress, but I'm giving a long answer. Short answer is yes. We are exploring how we can establish similar things in India. What we have learned over time, things in US, Canada, Europe, and India, they all have their small variations. So we are learning and trying to find ways around those variations to get further. Sulek Bhai or Jason Bhai, if you want to add anything into this, please. Yes, please, Jason Bhai.
As far as this education in India is concerned, I would say that now we have a very good understanding at an academic level here in US. We have a very good understanding how the landscape is in Britain, Switzerland, and Belgium. We now establish a professorship in Antwerp at Ghent University. We already have a preliminary discussion at the Hebrew University in Israel. That was last week. We will be getting in touch with Sulekji's help with some place, which is a Wellington University in New Zealand, because that's where we have Dr. Shivani Bothra did a PhD in Jainism, and now she is in US back. While we are doing it, we are also looking at the landscape in India at many, many different universities. And I believe that we will be able to achieve significant milestones in next year to year. We've been told in general terms that many times there are established established chairs in an Indian format, but they don't attract enough students. So either the funding is withdrawn, it's gone, or if the professor is there, if there is lack of interest on part of the students of taking those classes, then professors just gravitate to different areas. So I think we'll have to study what the university can do, where the funding is available, how much is an interest on part of the students. And yes, we would like to expand in India as well. Thank you very much.
Also, Jason Bhai,
yes.
Just a point. Their system is not exactly like ours. So that's another adjustment that we may have to make.
Yes, that's true. Just like we learned in Europe, that Europe has a little different system than the US system, where in the US, an endowed system of education is kind of an established, and all universities that we approach, they welcome us with the open arms. And Europe has a little different variation. Their system is a little different. So we have a little trouble understanding and breaking mold into that. And same thing in India. So yes, Narendra Bhai, we will be.
I think, Jaswant Bhai, can I
go ahead.
make a
Go
point?
ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I strongly feel that tremendous work of JAINA in USA will definitely bring transformation in India through JAINA India. Because what happened is things are very demoralized here. I mean, the established chairs are not doing the work how the USA is doing. So this entire Western world will now be the inspiration for India to change the scenario. So third generation, fourth generation, in fact, the best part is ISJS is in Pune now. With Firodia ji, the way the campus, the way the summer school, winter programs. And I feel the more and more aggressively when we will come up with the JAINA plans, I'm pretty sure that picture will change. In fact, the ambassadors, we will create the change makers through JAINA. So the earlier times we used to say that we inherit everything from India, but the time has changed. Now, how that India has every corner McDonald's, I think the time has come that every corner JAINA, ISJS centers would be there all around India. And we will be creating these change makers as the JAINA ambassadors who will transform the whole academia of this country. And I'm pretty sure it will happen.
Sharmila ji, we will join our hands with you, with the ISJS in Pune, with the Dr. Firodia, and we will try to bring the model from US to India. In the US, for an example, whenever we give the funds, $1 million endowed funds, it's just not kind of we hand over the money. We have a legal document that university signs, that we sign. In that case, we have somewhere from 3 page to 20 page of document. Everywhere when we agree to fund, Dr. Sulekji looks at the piece of the document. He goes, he argues, look at, we need to have this, we need to have that. We modify that. And once it is signed, endowment is in a perpetuity. University cannot back out unless there are some extraordinary circumstances. So we will try to see whether we can implement that in India. Yes, we have taken the first step of ISJS at Pune with Dr. Firodia. We are talking to many professors, luminaries over there, and I believe in next year, 2 years, we will make some significant progress.
In fact, ISJS have done agreement with the University of Pune. Recently, I had a talk with the Vice Chancellor, Niru Nigwekar. So I'm hoping with ISJS and this academia exchange programs, we will bring some changes to the University of Pune Jain chair. I'm pretty sure.
Sharmila ji, in fact, JAINA had started, we had the first international conference in Ahmedabad, January 2019. The only thing is we wanted to continue those type of conferences. However, this COVID situation messed up the entire programs. We even had,
आप खाली बताओ, हुकुम करो, एंड यहाँ पे हम सब अपने कंधे पे लेने के लिए तैयार है. So अब बस कुछ रुकना नहीं है, कोई कोविड नहीं, कुछ नहीं.
This is the reason why we established JAINA India Foundation. And Dr. Bipin Bhai Doshi is the chairperson there from Mumbai University. So everything is in plans, and we will definitely come and see you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for giving your 2 cents, 1 cent. But can I please get through the questions that people are so humble in writing on chat and not kind of coming up with? So can we please stay with the agenda, get through and talk other things once we are done or afterwards? I'm sorry, Michami Dukram, but I think we need to get through the questions that are coming from the chat first. Question was asked about involvement in Canada and French, and the answer, unfortunately, because of the list, I couldn't get the name of the person, but there's nothing that we are talking in French to the best of my knowledge so far. In Canada, we already have a postdoc fellowship in Toronto, nothing in Montreal or Quebec. But if anybody on the call have any connections anywhere, we will be more than happy to get on. Next question, Dhaval Shah is asking about the involvement of with the Srimad Rajchandra Mission, Dharampur and Rakesh Bhai group. So far, we only have established a Srimad Rajchandra chair in Jain Studies at University of California, Riverside. And, amongst all this, that was the first one that started functioning and going well. Of course, many are catching up and moving on also. But there's nothing else that is in the wings right now. Another question came from Pradeep Bhai about involving Panditji of various traditions. The requirements of academia is a little bit different. And I'll be happy, and I'm sure Sulekji, we all will be happy to talk more about specifics of what you are interested in or what you are asking about. But so far, all the positions have been occupied by people who have been trained academically and not otherwise. So then the next question is from Hemant Bhai about how does endowed chair works? Jason Bhai, Sulek Bhai, do you want to take a pick on this?
You go ahead, Nathan Bhai or Jason Bhai.
The way endowed chair works is in there are 2 or 3 different models. For an example, at University of California, Riverside. We endowed $1 million. It goes into the foundation of the university, and the university has a foundation of millions of dollars. They manage that funds, they invest, and there is the return aggregate. Particular endowed funds, which is our Jain's chair fund, if it's $1 million invested into the endowment in a perpetuity, they will declare at the end of the year 4% or 5% or 3% return. That return will be available to the endowed shareholder to use for conferences, scholarship, and promotion of our Jain study. That's one component. When we sign an MOU, a second component that there would be an endowed chairperson, that professor benefit and salary will come from the university general fund. It will not be coming from our endowed fund. So that's why when Sulekji said that we invested $14 million, but total investment is $50 million or more, is because when we put $1, universities put $2 into that investment, because the professor, even though they teach Jainism all throughout and promote Jainism to the scholarship and everything, their salary comes from the university. Return on the endowed fund is used for the promotion of the Jain conferences and scholarship and lectures. So this is how the model works here. And what we hear that that's been pretty successful model in the American system, because we have seen the established endowed chair in many different disciplines in all the universities, and it's been going so strong. I've been talking to Brown University, and this year alone, in 1 year alone, they established 85 endowed chair in a Brown University, and each chair is $4 million. Same thing at the University of Wisconsin. University of Wisconsin, in the last year and a half, they established more than 80 endowed chairs, and each chair is more than $2 to $3 million. We were happen to get one chair at the University of Wisconsin. So it's an established model. And if you look at universities in general, their source of the income and the revenue comes from 3 sources. One is an endowment, second is a tuition, and the third is a government funding from state and federal. So endowment is almost 1/3 of their funding of the operation of the universities. Thank you.
The only thing I would like to add is for all our friends is, once we have signed and created the endowment, the chair, the university completely has the freedom, complete freedom to hire. They will advertise internationally, world over. Then the people will apply from India, from other countries, and then there will be a significant amount of interviews for many days, and they will select the scholar. So we cannot interfere. We cannot give them a list that look at from this. So they will have their own complete academic freedom. So they will not accept any interference from us. This goes so far, and it will be continuing like this. So that's another income. In addition to the money part, that is a very fair competition all over the world.
Thank you very much, Sulekji, Jason Bhai. Just some comments. Ketan Bhai, yes, we will share the PowerPoint. Thank you, Manjuji, for adding that Kukaguru Kalidas University has also signed an MOU with ISJS, and that happens to be over 100 years old university. Hemant Bhai, your question about other religions and how, the question is, Sulek Bhai and Jason Bhai, how other religions have shared or invested in the endowments, chairs, professorship, etc. Any knowledge? I personally, please.
I can. We have
Please mute yourself.
Can you mute this?
Aman bhai, can you mute all? Yeah, go ahead, Jatin bhai.
I will tell you how other religions has done. When I started looking into this, I would say Jewish study chair all across the US, I forgot counting it. They must have more than 150 endowed chairs. In fact, every university, every religious department you go, there has to be a Judaism study. It's there. Islam there. More than 100 chairs. Same thing, Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism. Sikhism is there at least at 30 universities that we know of. We are, I would say we are behind into this, and we should catch up. So those chairs are there from many religions that I have come across. Thank you.
Yeah, I do not have a lot more information or knowledge about this, but the fact remains that we haven't found a single university yet where Islam, Jewish, and Christianity are not there. Yes, there are many places where South Asian religions are not there, even Hindu or Buddhism, but not about the three Western traditions. They're all there in most of the universities. I don't have any more questions on the chat, but I would like to say one thing for the benefit of all other Jain organizations. When we started this at UC Irvine and UC Riverside, I have to thank Mr. Virendra Bhai Shah that Jason Bhai already mentioned, but I will say a little more. He was the first president of Jain organization who established External Education Committee. And myself and Dr. Jason Bhai Modi, we were the two members. And the objective was to promote and let Jain community members in Southern California, at least, we also had outsiders participate, contribute, and then utilize those funds towards the university endowments, professorships, etc. So this is very helpful for people who may not be able to give larger amounts like 500,000, 100, 200, because we will ultimately need a vehicle, a non-profit organization vehicle to give this money to the universities. And that was very helpful. We really appreciate Virendra Bhai. He's on the call. I can see that. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it was very helpful. Yes, sir.
Thank you for everybody for their questions and feedback. I would like to say all this magic that we talked about, it happened during this JAINA JAINA EC Executive Committee, and mostly under Mahesh Bhai Wadar. 60% of the chairs and all these things have been created during his watch and this JAINA Executive Committee's watch. And we are not done yet. We have another 4 months. So another 4 months, I don't know how many magic will take place, but I'm sure I cannot give you the news, but we are in the process of at least 2, 3, maybe more. So that's number one I want to say. The game is still going on. So we have about 18 Tirthankars already. Their names have already been assigned. My brothers and sisters, we have 6 more left. And we should not stop there. We should have double Chobisi, 10 times Chobisi. So Bhaiya, open field hai, join us with us. And then the next thing that I want to say is, this is Mahesh Bhai Wadar all the time, okay? He had done a super job, and mera namaskar, naman to him. And I would request to him in presence of you what he is doing. He works 24 hours a day with passion. And Mahesh Bhai, stay leading JAINA. Please don't disappear, don't go anywhere. We will not let you go because you provide everything that JAINA leadership needs. So this is my request, humble request, that stay on, okay? With that, I want to thank you. Now you go ahead.
Thank you very much. We all will echo Mahesh Bhai. You not only have taken JAINA to not only multiple next levels, but He is one of the president who not only contributes by his vision and action, but also contributes financially, which is very, very helpful. We appreciate it and we thank you and we look forward to more contribution.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai.
Very good. Yes, go ahead.
We are already 15 minutes ahead of the plan, but I think it was very, very helpful. All the question and answers are very helpful. And thank you to ALC committee for bringing us all this detail. And now with Mahesh Bhai's permission, if it is okay, we can invite Savitaji Jain to do the final Mangalacharan and Kamemi Sabajive.
Yeah, just 1 minute. I would like to share how this ISJS started. Sulekh uncle and Shugan uncle together, they came up. And in 2006, there were 6 students. And when I went with my father-in-law's PhD to Shugan uncle, I was carrying MacBook Air. And he said, this PPT, this pen drive will not work on this. And I said, how do you know? He said, I am a software engineer. I was in Hong Kong. And then he told me, मैंने कहा सर फिर आप ये Jainism में कैसे आ गए? And he told about Sulekh uncle के he was mechanical engineer. वो बोले कि मेरा जापान या हांगकांग कहाँ से ट्रांसफर यूएस हुआ और एयरपोर्ट पे मेरी माँ का जो आटा का डब्बा था वो खुल गया, उसमें सुलसुली आ गई थी, कीड़े आ गए थे. तो बोले मेरी माँ ने कहा कि मैं नहीं जाऊंगी अमेरिका, मैं ब्रेड नहीं खा सकती हूँ, मैं नहीं जाऊंगी अमेरिका. तो बोले मैं इंडिया आ गया और मैंने और सुलेख ने ये स्टार्ट किया. तो वी आर सो ग्रेटफुल टू सुलेख अंकल एंड शुगन अंकल दैट यू ब्रॉट अप ISJS. एंड मैं तो सुलेख अंकल से इतनी गालियां खाती हूँ, इतनी डांट खाती हूँ every time I call him, and that is a blessing for me.
मिच्छामि दुक्कडम मंजू बहन, मिच्छामि दुक्कडम.
Thank you. Thank you all. If I request everybody to please go on mute and let's listen from Savitaji Jain. Thank you.
It's not like developed by Indian, captain Indian.
Jai Jinendra.
Can please everybody please go on mute. Thank you.
Kamemi savve jiva khamantu me mitti me sav bhuesu Veram Majjanna Kenai Sarva Mangala Mangalyam Sarva Kalyana Karanam Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam Jainam Jayati Shasanam Jainam Jayati Shasanam. Jai Jinendra.
Thank you, Savitaji. We will have this, the whole session would be available on our portal pretty soon and we will email you. Thank you. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.